Hello and welcome to the Service Management Show from the team here at Efficode. My name is Gary Blower. I'm the IT Service Management Practice Lead for Efficode in the UK. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about HR Service Management. I'm joined by my special guest this month, who is Prabhu Palanisamy. Prabhu, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep. Thanks, Gary, for the opportunity. Quite excited to have this conversation with you. My name is Prabhu Palanisamy. I'm one of the co-founder at Onward. Onward is a Atlassian Marketplace Partner that specializes in HR service management. We build apps that are on top of Jira Service Management that help organizations to quickly deploy and automate HR use cases.
Brilliant. So you're definitely the person to ask about HR service desks and the kind of challenges involved in providing them. So that's essentially our topic for this week. So Prabhu and I just a brief chat really and discussion about those sorts of things. We've got some kind of talking points to cover, and hopefully everyone you learn a little bit about HR service desks and how best to implement them really. First of all though, when we talk about HR or human resources service desk, what typically do HR business units look to try to do with a service desk?
Good question, right? In an organization, in order to track work, ticket management was introduced, right? To make sure that I track the work, making sure that I can do the assignment and getting that work completed. Jira is that foundation, right? You have incidents, tickets reported and work on it. IT has their ITSM, right? And in terms of HR, usually it's a growing pain. When organization gets started, there are various means to get that communication and collaboration, email, right? Quite easy and often becomes the culprit in terms of that growing pain. Spreadsheets, checklist, tasks, right? I'm not against any of these tools. It's an excellent platform to get started. Like any other teams, HR also gets started off with managing all the onboarding in a spreadsheet, communicating to various department owners as well as new hire candidates in an email, etc. What that, at a point, and suddenly it happens suddenly, and organization realize that, hey, I need to have a proper management. I need to have a proper governance. I need to have a proper security and audit of all these activities. And that's where that foundation of HR service management comes into the picture. Right. And also, like any other, organization, unit within an organization, HR is highly interdependent. What I mean by that is, even though a new hire employee onboarding is a responsibility of the HR person, HR needs support of the IT to create email and ship a laptop. HR needs the support of the marketing team to ship business cards and t-shirts, etc. So when that interdependency happens, you need that handoff, collaboration, escalation, delegation. And that's where this area is getting matured. And we believe organization will deploy a proper tool associated governance as opposed to ad hoc type of tools and utilities.
I was thinking of some examples I've seen over the years. I remember, actually, this is a company I work for. I remember that the HR department had to put in the requests to these other departments like IT and stuff 3 to 6 weeks before the new employee started, because it was such a manual process of sending out the email, filling in an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document, emailing one document to one place and another document to another place, and then getting confirmation. It was an absolute nightmare. So it would take them, their actual workflow for onboarding an employee could sometimes be 4, 5, 6 weeks of activity. Crazy. We've done, in part of Effico, we've worked with a few customers in helping them to implement kind of HR service desk and HR service management. And you mentioned employee onboarding, offboarding, and then we'll get into a lot of detail on that because it's one of the more complicated areas, isn't it? But I've seen some unusual examples as well. So I've seen some companies use it for things like training requests.
Yep.
I've seen it for things like managing things like certifications and qualifications within the business. Have you seen any other kind of sort of not necessarily unusual but interesting business use cases for HR service management?
Yeah. But like if we look at HR, like I'll use the employee onboarding as an example. It's quite linear. Interview is completed, offer letter is sent. All the hiring instructions are complete, training prerequisites are complete and onboarded, right? We usually think in a linear fashion. And unfortunately, HR processes are not linear in a typical organization. When it comes to, let's say, a global organization where they have, you are quite familiar with it, right? Where you have a team in UK, you have a team in US, you have a team in Europe. Even though all are, part of the same parent company, the processes, culture, and the customers that you serve is very different. Yeah. So essentially, I may have a training prerequisite that is, very specific to my role. I may have a laptop requirement that is so unique to my function, meaning, hey, I'm a designer. I need a 4x capacity than a developer, right? Those ad hoc use cases makes the whole process change from linear to go into a workflow and approval-based process. Like say, for example, a designer joins and says that, hey, I need this memory, which is not the one that you offer for a laptop, right? Maybe that's $50, right? But it has to be reviewed, approved, making sure that it follows. People cannot ad hocly approve and say, go ahead with it, right? Same thing, like there is, like say, medical review and approval for a maternity leave or a special, exception for medical leave, right? How do we route it? How do we automate certain pieces of it? Meaning there are certain things where we can avoid manual data entry, meaning, hey, I've already provided all the information in my JSM ticket. Should I manually enter all the things in my HR system, for example, Workday or other systems, right? Simple things in terms of data duplication and data entry provides a huge advantage for HR business partners to focus on high-value activities.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a good segue, actually, because when we talk to customers, if customers already got, for example, Jira Service Management or some other service management tool actually that they're using for IT or for some other part of the business, and they want to start looking to use that with, to help support the HR team to kind of help get them away from, email and spreadsheets and all these things. The first question that the HR department always asks is, can you integrate with our existing tool? I wonder if you'd sort of talk about some of the market-leading HR tools out there, what it is they actually do.
Right, great question, right? From the consulting world, we always talk about crawl, walk, and run, right? Like there is that maturity, right? And when we talk about that task management or an issue list, we start with checklist and templates, right? JSM and as well as, Jira flavors, Jira work management has exceptional checklist and templates capabilities, right? You can have board view, Kanban view, making sure that what is that work and the visibility associated with it, right? I call that as the crawl mode, meaning, hey, put everything in place. Like what are the 10 things I need to do to onboard a person or offboard a person? So making that transparent and visible. Right. The next is the walk mode, meaning, can I take this unit of work and integrate to my HR system? Like say, for example, hey, here is the new hire, and this is the name, address, all the reporting details. I don't need to manually enter or ask the hiring manager for the same data sets. Basic push and pull of the data, right? Most of the applications today provide good API support, right? Workdays of the world, SAP SuccessFactors, ADP Workforce Now, Dayforce, Bamboo HR, etc. Right? And the Atlassian platform, particularly Forge, where we build our marketplace app, have a good, robust, scalable development platform to build integrations. And that's what we did. Right? We built those native integrations where, without a need for an external integration tool or an external utility to send the data out, right within JSM, I can send the data to my HR system. That's my work mode, right? Then the run mode, right? I have my checklist. I manage all my tasks in JSM. I can push and pull data to my HR system. Can I automate those tasks, right? So for example, when somebody is hired, can I create that email in Azure AD and come back? Because I already know the name of the person, last name, and the email, the domain, the name. And I also have the expressions of how should the email be created. Is it first name dot last name, first letter of the first name and last name, right? We can have those expressions and have the automation do the work and come back to you instead of having manually enter the data, right? That's the automation piece. And to me, that's what, we are excited is because you can do these activities step by step using our apps and within the foundation of JSM.
And that final example you gave, that's almost going from hiring through to provisioning the user completely, isn't it? From start to end. Yeah.
Right.
Which is really powerful because essentially you can have everything pre-programmed and pre-formatted and templated as to what you want to do. So the other thing, again, when we talk to some of our customers about, if they're looking to do an HR service management solution of some kind and they want to leverage the Atlassian tools to do it because they're already using it, the first question we often get asked is about security. And obviously with HR data, it's confidential. So you mentioned in developing your marketplace app, you gave special consideration, didn't you, to the way in which security is handled?
Exactly. That's a great question, Gary, right? If we look back in time, right, even 5 years back, a startup focuses more on the MVP and the features. Great, right? And usually compliance, certification, comes later when there is maturity and is like always like the cherry on the cake, right? Like, hey, let me get my basic things covered. With the cloud and as well as the speed at which apps can be developed, it's, to me, security is the foundation, right? For example, we are an upcoming organization and we wanted security to be done from day one, right? So as soon as we have our apps developed, we went through the SOC 2 certification and cloud fortified status within the Atlassian Marketplace. Because we don't want to go to the customer and say, hey, use our app. If you like it, scale it, and we will eventually get certified, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to become that page 3 or page 4 type of execution. We said that here is our app. We already have the security credentials done. Use it with confidence. And we feel that this is going to be the norm than an exception.
I think that's so crucial for HR-related service management solutions because it's always the first thing that's asked. Because teams are so sensitive about the data. I mean, even the way in which it's used in Jira, we'll use things like issue security and obviously quite extensive use of what are called permission schemes.
Yep.
In order to lock down individual ticket bases, so you can set permissions per ticket if you need to. Because and honestly, if all the types of service management solutions we do, HR is the one always that has the most focus around security. So I think for you guys. When we spoke before we recorded this podcast, but that was the thing that we really sort of latched onto is the fact that it's so important that any solution you come up with is secure, and the SOC 2 compliance is
exactly.
is so.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, right? Obviously, I was talking about from our Onward app standpoint, right? there is so much is provided as part of the platform, which is Atlassian itself, right? Permission sets, role-based access, issue-level permissions. Recreating or reinventing this is a humongous activity. And that's what when I see like external apps or standalone apps providing similar functionalities, I tell them that, hey, Atlassian did 80% of the work.
Yeah.
If you want to recreate it, that's like, 3-4 years of R&D. And then why do you reinvent the wheel? And then, to your point, we leverage all the good things that Atlassian platform already, has it in terms of security.
And this comes because you mentioned there's a bit technical for general listeners, but you mentioned Forge. So Forge is a specific API set, isn't it, that you used? And Forge comes with some of this stuff as a kind of built-in feature, doesn't it?
Exactly. Right. So Forge is a development platform, completely native, provided by Atlassian to build apps in the marketplace. And we love it in terms of, because we don't need to worry about the scale, the security, and the constant innovation and the updates that Atlassian provides, where we can simply take advantage of it.
Awesome. So so we talked a little bit about developing your app. It's probably worth mentioning what your apps do. So, do you want to just give us a quick run through of what your principal apps actually do within the Jira Service Management space?
Absolutely. So our flagship app, OnRamp, that does employee onboarding and offboarding. We envision this as an app that helps HR business partners collaborate with their stakeholders within their organization to do seamless onboarding and offboarding. Second, OnLink. Think of this as an integration utility that has native integrations to common HR applications. Customers who want that core integration utility and want to customize it for their use cases, they can get started off with OnLink. Usually OnLink and OnRamp, complement each other and customers utilize it for their use cases. We have OnRewards. This is a peer recognition and rewards management function for Jira Service Management use cases. Essentially, I can have a gamification and a point-based system to encourage teams collaborate effectively and do that incentive and rewards management.
Okay, awesome. And in terms of, I know because you guys are an Atlassian venture, so you're essentially a startup, aren't you, in many ways, although you've got quite a lot of customers already. What's the next big thing for you guys moving into 2024-25?
Excellent. We have a very good aggressive roadmap. It's just that excitement we have to contain ourselves to pace it to make sure we are able to hit the milestones. The roadmap is today we have support for around 30 applications, and by end of this year we should have support for 75 applications.
Wow.
We are covering applications in 3 domains largely: HR systems. So we would we want to provide a spectrum of HR application support: small, medium, commercial enterprise, and large enterprises. And second is the recruiting system. So we want to start all the way from the applicant tracking system to the hiring and creation, updation on the HR side of it. The third is the collaboration and identity management system. So we have support for Azure, Okta, Jump Cloud, Google Workspace. We would like to expand off it. So providing that native integration is a priority for us.
Okay.
Second is the AI agents. So we are working on very exciting feature where today we have automation of the issue. The logical extension is, hey, can I delegate this issue automation and as well as management to an agent? So imagine a future where somebody is hired and Atlassian AI agent takes control and say, hey, welcome. Here are the 10 issues that I would like to, start managing it. we are doing that pilot, and we are very excited about that potential, and more on that in Team 24, where we plan to demo the features.
Amazing. Well, that's another good segue, because I was going to mention that. but yeah, so yeah, both you and I will be at Team 24. So viewers and listeners, do come and check us out. Yeah. If they want to find out more information, if they're not attending Team 24, Prabhu, where can they find out more information about Onward and Onward's products?
Excellent. Onwardb.com is our website. We have a help center. Feel free to, collaborate. And we are quite active in the Atlassian community itself. So, you can reach us out, and email us support@onwardb.com.
Brilliant, thank you. And obviously, Ethico, we're working with Onward on a number of customer engagements at the moment. As always, you can find out more information about Ethico in the links below. I think there's also a bonus episode, webinar for you with my colleague Paul Rennie, who's talking to one of our customers who've actually rolled out Jira Service Management across their entire business. So it's really interesting sort of enterprise service management use case, and also that includes HR. So again, there'll be a link below.
If you allow me to give a short plug, Gary, your team is excellent. So, kudos to Eric, Paul, you, Alex, exceptional team, and we look forward for a long and a fruitful partnership.
Yeah, there's many people out there who really want a decent HR service management solution. So yeah, that's what we're here to do.
Excellent.
Yes, brilliant. Right. Okay. So yeah. Just me to wrap things up, really. So first of all, thank you, Prabhu, for joining me in the podcast this month.
It's a pleasure, Gary.
All it leaves me to finally say is that if you enjoy these videos, then please do like and subscribe and share them wherever you're watching them, on LinkedIn or YouTube. And feel free to leave any comments or questions you have in the LinkedIn post itself. And I'm sure Prabhu and I will be looking at those and will respond as well. So thanks very much, and I hope you join us again next month.